Alrighty, whenever you're ready.
Alright, hi guys, my name's Austin. I'm up here with Grace, Maddie, and Mackenzie, and we're going to talk to you today about global warming. It's really interesting, I know. But basically, global warming has been a real controversial topic for quite some time now, and many argue about its existence. You know, some argue that it doesn't exist, some argue that it does. But these recent climate changes could prove to be a real problem moving forward for mankind if we do not act on them now. These extreme conditions are not to be taken lightly. Throughout different parts of the world, there have been many climate changes worthy of our attention just within the last couple of decades or so. For a while now, these changes have been happening right under our noses, and not many people are even aware of it. However, even after being made aware of what might be potentially happening to our planet, others still refuse to believe it. They don't even accept it. It seems that when asked, most people believe that global warming is just still some type of myth. Although they might not be wrong, there is no denying that the planet's climates are changing, and it would be wise to put an end to our ignorance and accept that. And we need to find out what we can do to help. Scientists are now beginning to learn that the Earth's climate has been changing like this for over millions of years. So it's climate changes like these from so long ago that are believed to be the alteration that had coincided with not only the extinction of certain ancestors, but the succession of other ancestors. Now, with that being said, many would argue the fact that climate changes have been acting like this for millions of years, and global warming is still not set in and taken effect yet, so there's really nothing to worry about. But that argument would be invalid. There's multiple lines of scientific evidence that show the climate system is warming, and scientists are beginning to understand the causes of these changes. According to An Idealized Land Planet, which is an article written by two authors named Thomas Becker and Bradley Stevens, over 90% of scientists who were asked believe that most of global warming is being caused and accelerated by increasing concentrations of greenhouse gases, which we are most likely responsible for, which leads to my next point. The main cause of global warming is yet to be determined, however, we as humans are not helping. There's no doubt that we're accelerating Earth's inevitable warming, but the question is, are we the main cause? One thing is for certain, global warming is nearing, and we're not doing anything about it. According to the NRDC, otherwise known as the National Resources Defense Council, in 2012, the U.S. recorded its warmest year ever, which is kind of crazy to think about. That's 3 years ago. That's right around the corner. Record-breaking events regarding the temperature occurred in each of the 50 states of America. Also in 2012 was kind of a crazy year for global warming. In 2012, the U.S. saw its hottest March ever, and its July was quite possibly the hottest month ever recorded in this country. Within the lower 48 states, not including Alaska and Hawaii, they saw that July was the hottest month ever. The scariest part about all this, these conditions are likely to be in our near future if we don't do anything about it now. We're just burning too many fossil fuels such as coal, natural gas, and oil. This is overloading our atmosphere with carbon dioxide, which is causing the Earth to trap heat, which then causes the temperatures to rise. This map right here on the left is from the mid-1900s. This map right here is current, it's from 2015. And as you can see, obviously, Africa right here is completely dark red. Most of South America here is dark red, and everything here is pretty chill. It's kind of blue, everything's good there. Basically, the dark red here means the temperatures are exceeding 145 degrees. As you can see back then, nothing was even close to reaching these types of temperatures. 37, this stat kind of amazes me. 37 out of the last 40 years have been warmer than the overall 20th century average. This is just all kind of global, what's been happening throughout the world. The 12 warmest years ever have occurred with just in the last 20 years. And also, this is something we should definitely worry about. The entire east coast of the U.S., along with the Gulf of Mexico, is at severe risk of flooding just within the next several years, maybe the next 5 to 10 years. And within the last 30 years, the overall temperature of the entire continent of Africa has increased by nearly 1 degree, which is a lot. And so basically, with all that being said, this is not a myth, this is happening, and we need to do something about it. And so now I'll pass on to Grace.
Okay, so in my section, I'll be talking about global warming, ozone depletion, and deforestation. So over the past few years, we've experienced record-breaking summers and winters, and this is a big cause of global warming. So global warming refers to the gradual temperature increase of Earth's atmosphere and result of increased carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases, and many other pollutants. Many of these pollutants are caused by humans, and we need to preserve our Earth. So, yeah, in the past century, our Earth has increased by 1 degree and is predicted to increase another 3 to 7 degrees in the 21st century. Okay, so according to the EPA, humans cause 82% of all greenhouse gases, and greenhouse gases are a main cause of global warming. Some greenhouse gases that occur naturally are carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Some non-natural or like man-made greenhouse gases are CFCs, PFCs, and HFCs. Some examples of the naturally occurring greenhouse gases result from like cars, coal-burning factories, and like burning fossil fuels, all of which emit carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. And then CFCs are found in aerosol cans and even refrigerators, and PFCs are found in microwavable popcorn bags. And so even though that the government has put many regulations on the man-made greenhouse gases, they're still used in every single day of life. So when these chemicals are emitted or released from that, the atmosphere is unable to absorb all the heat, so the heat is just getting trapped inside the atmosphere, causing the temperature to rise. This is known as the greenhouse effect. So instead of absorbing the chemicals, they're re-radiated and directed back towards Earth, heating it up. Like I said before, the Earth's atmosphere has increased by 1 degree, and it's predicted to increase another 3 to 7 degrees in the future. So even though that these greenhouse gases will heat up our Earth, we still need them, otherwise it would be too cold and unlivable. And then another side effect of greenhouse gases is ozone depletion. So when all these gases are in the atmosphere, they break down the ozone, letting more harmful UVB and UVA rays let through the air. And so a large portion over Antarctica has very low ozone levels, causing the icebergs to melt, which are homes for many animals like polar bears, penguins, and seals. And also low ozone levels could harm humans as well, causing skin cancer. Okay, and then for my last point, I'll talk about deforestation. Okay, so Earth's population right now is approximately 9 billion people. In the U.S. alone, about 4 million babies are born each day. So an increase in population means that we need an increase in food, water, and shelter. And so many governments and private businesses go in and deforest all these lands to provide homes and even factories to provide food and electricity for us now. So in doing that, it's ruining many animals' homes, and it's also unbalancing our carbon cycle. So plants and trees take in CO2 and then release O2, like oxygen, back into the air, keeping it very balanced. But when these trees aren't there, then high levels of CO2 is left in the atmosphere, causing the greenhouse effect to happen, causing temperature increase. So the last section of like deforestation is they go in and they burn everything to make sure everything is completely cleared. So once they burn it, then an even unhealthier amount of CO2 is released in the air. So without those trees, then it's just in the air. So each minute, about 36 football fields of forest is being cut down, and a result that is contributing 15% of global greenhouse gases. So as humans, we need to take responsibility for this, otherwise for future generations, our Earth will be unhealthy to live. So global warming is permanently changing our climate.
Next we'll have Maddie talk to us.
So like they said, this is mainly our doing, so it's our job to fix what we've done so far. As seen in like this graph, electricity and transportation are really the main factors that play a part in global warming, along with industry and residential and commercial. Those are also big contributors. But ways that we can cut down for like the electricity portion in this industry is switching from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources, such as wind and solar. And wind, mainly we use windmills and turbines, which those only work typically in like areas that have a lot of wind coming through it, and so does solar. So for solar, it just harnesses the sun's energy through solar panels, and they can actually heat and cool and light homes. So both of these are, like, the location is really key. So with solar panels, they can actually have a lot of sun hitting places. So another thing that I hadn't heard of before is offset carbon footprinting. And according to the NRDC, carbon offsets, which is reduction in emissions of CO2 to compensate emissions made elsewhere. So you can purchase this and it'll make up for someone else or something else, like emitting CO2. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know if people knew about that before, but another easy fix is to buy more efficient vehicles. There's plenty of options out there now. Cars with like high mileage or plug-ins, electric cars and things. Those use less gas and emit less CO2, which will emit less pollution into the atmosphere. And also, if you keep your tires properly inflated, that uses less gas, and all three of those save money. So it's kind of win-win to save the atmosphere, save some money. So, but all in all, if you just drive less, or you just walk places, or ride a bike, those are also good options. Another thing that you can do just inside the home is buy energy efficient appliances, such as dishwashers and washing machines. Those just save our water and just uses less energy. That just uses like the necessary amount. And another is to weatherize your home, such as sealing drafts and having adequate insulation in the walls. These will help use less heating and cooling from systems and less CO2. These I found from an article called Personal Steps You Can Take to Fight Global Warming. So these are really easy. All you have to do is change all your light bulbs in your house to compact fluorescent light bulbs. These light bulbs last 10 times longer, and they keep a half ton of CO2 out of the air. That's a really simple fix and doesn't cost too much either. Another is to use less heat and air conditioning. Like the way that I said, if you just use, if you insulate your homes and seal drafts, you can use less of that easily. Another is to conserve water, like using less hot water, having low flow shower heads, and washing clothes in cold water. That's how you do that. And I think we've all heard this, turn off lights whenever you're not in a room, or unplug anything that you're not using. That just uses less unnecessary electricity. And another is, like Grace said, plant a tree. Trees replenish our earth in one lifetime. One tree can absorb 1 ton of CO2, which is a lot. So it's so easy to do. If every single one of us planted a tree, we would really help out our atmosphere. And another that I also didn't know about either is you can ask for a home energy audit whenever you get bills and everything. It's to keep track of your energy usage. You can see what improvements you can make and see where all of your energy is going towards. And this can really help you to reduce your carbon footprint. And also, like everyone here, is reduce, reuse, recycle. That's a big saying that I found for helping. So next we will watch our PSA to see what global warming and who all affects.
I think it's the blue hat you're wearing that's causing climate change.
My blue hat?
Yeah, clear.
Do you think so?
Yeah, well, maybe not, but what else could possibly be causing climate change?
Maybe it's the humans.
The humans?
Yeah.
No. Do you think for one moment that they would allow that to happen to us?
Ever since the Industrial Revolution began, factories, power plants, and eventually cars burn fossil fuels such as oil and coal, releasing huge amounts of carbon dioxide and other gases into the atmosphere. These
refuse to believe that it's an issue and don't think that it's like going to affect us at all. And it's a controversial topic that's debated by many. And so I'll talk about some of their arguments and their popular beliefs that go along with that. So some people argue that climate change is a standstill and it hasn't changed in years. And according to an article by John Hawkins in Town Hall Journal, there hasn't been any change in climate since 1997, and that satellite readings of temperatures do not show any trend in climate change, but land-based temperature readings show a trend. And in these pictures, it just shows that like the global average temperature is increasing and it will continue to increase just as the years go on, and that these two photos show how like the ice caps are melting and how it will continue to melt. And according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, Earth's average temperature has risen 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit in the past 100 years, and it will continue to rise in the future. And so some scientists also argue that to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, it would be too expensive, and they feel that if there's no point in spending money on something if they don't know that that's the problem for sure. And in the past, the government used money to fund the greenhouse gas effects, but it just ended up leaving the states in more debt, so they're afraid that that's going to happen again. And some scientists also believe that there's no point in spending money on this because they don't believe that humans disrupt the Earth's climate. Unnatural climate change is actually due to human activity, and like Grace said, the greenhouse effect is natural and it's necessary for life, but it like keeps the Earth warm and not letting cold air in, but like the excessive amounts is changing the Earth's climate too rapidly and unnaturally. And humans are also responsible for cutting down forests, which leaves more CO2 in the atmosphere to be trapped, and it causes more heat. And most of the greenhouse gases come from burning of fossil fuels. In the past, the effects on Earth due to climate change were too small to notice, but now it's becoming more rapid and easier to detect. Scientists believe that climate change is a result of natural factors that occur on Earth are right. Volcanic activity and changes in solar radiation affect climate, and the factors like have been occurring for a long time, but ever since like the Industrial Revolution, like humans have been causing more of a noticeable effect. So it's important for us to be aware of climate change and that it's occurring. And even though some think that it's not an issue, we should keep like debating and telling others like the ways that's negatively affecting us. And there are more evidence to support the fact that it's happening than there is to show that it's not.
So basically, just to wrap up, global warming is real and it's on our doorstep, possibly because of us. Earth's surface temperature is predicted to increase another 3 to 7 degrees in the 21st century, which may not seem like a lot, but that's a lot. There are many easy ways we can help to minimize the amount of CO2 and other pollutants that enter the atmosphere. And even though people believe global warming is not real, it is an important issue that we have to act on because we can't really just because we move to another planet.
So it's important to protect our home. Like Austin said, we're like stuck here, so we should like fix the problem while we can. And we're not alone on this earth, so we have to respect that other people are here and we all have to work together to fix this. And everyone has a part in it. Like Maddie said, we can all make small changes to fix this. And we need to realize what is happening and start doing something about it.
Thank you for listening.
Well done, and I think it's an an interesting topic, so you don't have to apologize for it. It's all right.
I've just been hearing so much about it since grade school, so it started to become less interesting.
Oh, it's still important, Austin. Come
It's
on.
very
You don't want to
important, yes.
die.
I'm not saying that.
Just, all right. You really don't. Okay. Let's open it up for questions. All right. What do you think? Convincing? No? Yeah, Brittany.
So do you think like that it's too late to really make a difference, like a big difference with it, or?
I personally don't think it's too late. I mean, they don't project this, like, global warming to actually set in for another 2 million years or so. So that's a really long time. You know, the Earth's been around for a while too, but I think that, you know, if we start doing something now, you know, there's a lot of people on this Earth. We could all start doing just a little bit, and it would really amount to a lot. And I think we could reverse the effects that we've set in. I'm not a scientist, so I don't take my word for that.
You're not fatalistic. Okay. All right. There is hope. Great. Anything else? Kendall, are you convinced?
Yeah.
Good. All right. She's good. Good. Interesting. Did it change any of your opinions? I mean, were you all pretty set on global warming as a thing, or no?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like Austin said, like we've been hearing about it since like second grade and just seeing how much it's affected us. And so I think it's our job for our generation to really go out in the world and like fix things, because like we've been learning so much about it. We know it's a problem, so we have to do something about it.
Yeah. My generation didn't do much, so sorry. All right. Well, great. Good job, guys. Really nice.